What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. We're going to be doing first and foremost a live Bundesliga guaranteed team of the season upgrade pack. As you can see, I've only got 650,000 coins. I made some purchases. I sold Jordi Alba. I sold basically every Frenchman that I had left in the club. And my Tolisos that I bought for around 2.6 to 2.7. His going price right now is about 3.8, but I'm trying to get lazy buyers to buy them with the new Bundesliga team of the season and so on and so forth. So we're trying our best with that. So first of all, I want to show you what additions I added. I haven't made any changes to the actual starting 11 yet, but I bought three huge players. I bought James Rodriguez for 308. I bought Thomas Müller for 397. And I bought Batshuayi for 425. The reason why I bought them is because I actually just want to try them out and play with them. Even if it means putting away my best players for a while. We can obviously put him in there. We can put Thomas Müller up there. Batshuayi up there and Thomas Müller in here. Now that does mean that I'm going to have to get Heung-min Son replaced. But we could go and get any German actually. I could put Sané there instead of Son and just convert him down to a right mid, and then everybody gets the maximum / Sané on 7 chemistry. But obviously that will depend on who we pack out of this guaranteed team of the season. And then I just want to play a couple of games with those guys just to test them out, see how they feel. I'm not going to keep them. I don't know if I bought them at a good price or a bad price. I literally just went and bought them. I thought, you know what, let's just go in. We'll do it. We'll get it. We'll see what we get. And if they play well, great. Good stuff. If they don't play well, no problem at all. We'll sell them. Now, in terms of the Bundesliga SBC, I've got a lot of untradeable team of the seasons right now that I genuinely don't care about. So what I'm going to do is take the least kind of desirable team of the season that I've got available and dump them in this. Now I know I can still go and get the weekly objective team of the season card, which I will in due course. I know we've still got a few other team of the seasons handed out to us, but basically these 5. Aspas, Vertonghen I want to keep just because he's Premier League and decent. Dele Alli I want to keep because he's Premier League and decent. Callejon I just love too much to get rid of. But I think Aspas as well is a super high rated one. I'll probably dump into the ultimate team of the season guaranteed SBC. So that leaves me with Malcolm, Valeri and Partey. I would not really like Malcolm's a decent card, 4-star, but because we've got now Leon Bailey, we've got Sané, we've got so many wingers, Callejon, we've got so many wingers available to us. I don't know if this is a guy that I really care about keeping. So we're going to dump him in here. We're going to need 2 Bundesliga players. So let me go and get, in fact, let me try to fill out a Bundesliga squad with the commons and golds that we've got available from doing the guaranteed upgrade packs. Let's start. I only need this to be an 82 rated squad. I'm probably going to be too low with what I've got going on here. Let's see what else we've got. See, I don't really need to use those. Now we do need some chemistry, nothing major. Let's pop Hector in there. We only need 65 chemistry. So if I just go now for a centre back from anywhere, and we'll pop in a couple. We'll start with, let's pop in Fernandez and Bartra there, just some good chemistry on them, and then let's get a couple of strikers as well. And we'll just see what we're saying for rating. So we're at 81 rated right now. So let's get rid of this 75. Oh no, he's good for chemistry. Let's get rid of the 77 rated dude. Who have we got a right back? 80 Versalco. That's not quite enough yet either. Let's trade the goalkeeper out as well for an 80, 81, 82. Is an 82 going to be enough? No, but we'll pop him in there anyway because then we can upgrade this guy, Kramer, a 79 rated CDM for an 80 rated CDM or an 81 rated CDM. So an 81's not enough either. And let's trade the 81 for the 82 or for... Have we got 79 here still? So we've got this 75 rated dude. Let's just pop a different centre back in instead of him. Let's try a 76 or a 77. So a 77 doesn't work for centre back. Yeah, it doesn't work. Let's put in Bender. There we go. That'll do. That'll do. I mean, that's still super cheap for the free team of the season. Now, I understand that I've traded in Malcolm and I could get that Gregorich guy, or I could get Hradecki or whoever the goalkeepers are. But I hope I don't get Bailey or Wendell first of all, but I hope we get something nice here. Batshuayi, Royce obviously would be ideal. It's German. It's a striker. It's not good. It is... oh, wait, actually, it's not bad. That isn't bad at all. It's Serge Gnabry. Tell you what, that's much better than I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be that Uth guy. The strikers that were available, I didn't think that it was going to be Serge Gnabry. I don't know why, but that's not so bad at all. The other strikers that it could have been that were German was Peterson, who obviously isn't insane. It could have been Werner the Burner, could have been Peterson, it could have been Uth, or it could have been Gnabry. I was expecting Uth or Peterson, which is why I was initially disappointed, but Serge Gnabry is not bad. Now, he won't be a starter for me. I might try him to start because, you know, 3-star weak foot. But his card is like 80 composure. His reactions are relatively low. I would probably give him like marksman or something. But that's not bad. Again, we traded in an 89 rated pace merchant for a 90 rated pace merchant. And I don't know, maybe I can use him. I can use him. I can just take out Sané now. I could put Gnabry up front. Or like convert. I don't know if I want to waste... I don't know if I'd want to waste, because I could convert Gnabry down to a centre mid and start him on 7 chem, or I could convert Muller or James Rodriguez and start them on 7 chem, or I could play with James in there and put Hullet over on there and start him at 7 chem. Although then Ramos doesn't get the links needed. So I don't know what I want to do with this team. I need to convert someone from a striker to a centre forward, and the striker to centre forward cards are expensive. So maybe I won't use Gnabry. Maybe we'll just put Gnabry on the bench, and that'll be our bench. I mean, this bench is utterly insane, right? I mean, this is probably one of the best benches you're ever likely to see. Who else would we take off? Iago Aspas for Fernandinho. So in terms of what we've got available on the bench, Fernandinho for defensive midfielder, De Bruyne, Son, Gnabry, Callejon, Firmino and Dele Alli. That's a good squad. I don't know if I'm going to play a live game for the rest of this. I probably am, actually. So yeah, I will be right back. Alright guys, here we go into the game. I put the team together. I decided to keep Sané in with Muller, Batshuayi, Rodriguez, Bailey, keep calling him Bailly, Wendell. I mean, all in all, this is a great team. The problem I have with this team is it's very top heavy. It's not very well balanced, and I wonder if that's going to cause me issues in the game. If I want to run a 4-1-2-1-2, I'm going to have to use Hullet in at CDM. And then I'm going to have to use Rodriguez and Muller at centre mid, and they're both better suited for cams. And then I'm going to have to use Sané at cam, and then Batshuayi and Bailey up front. So it's very unbalanced. And if I use it as a 4-4-2, what I have then is an imbalance in the midfield and wing play. So I would use Ruud Hullet and Thomas Muller at centre mid. I would use Sané and Bailey on the wings, but then that would mean I'm using James Rodriguez at striker alongside Batshuayi, and I don't think that works either. So I'm preparing myself, I'm gearing myself up for a difficult game defensively here, because my team just doesn't suit what it's at. But saying that, I actually think, this is what I was going to say, this guy, actually let me go back anyway, because not because I want to back out, because I actually want to do my player instructions here to save myself from having to do them in game, is because I'm actually going to stay on the 4-5-1 to start with. As you guys well know, I personally believe that one striker formations just aren't great. It's why I like the 4-4-2. It's why I like the 4-1-2-1-2. You know, I don't really enjoy the one striker formation because it's not as exploitable as the 2 striker formations, and that's a sad fact about the way this goes. Now, I've been asked a lot. Let's see what this guy's got for a team. That's a nice team. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm an idiot, aren't I? I'm an idiot. I've got the silver kit on. Rip. It wouldn't matter. This might even be a different player. It's my silver kit. I forgot that I put the silver kit on. Anyway, I'm still going to stick with the 4-5-1 in this manner. Obviously, there was the EA Sports E-World Cup today, and there was a lot of drama surrounding Kurt and his actions on the game. And I tweeted out basically the long and the short of my opinion. But I've been asked a lot about it. I've been asked to talk on the subject. People want me to make a video and stuff. And for me, it's not that deep, right? There's the two things that come about from that for me personally. First of all, is that Kurt's frustrations are fair and they're respectable. You know, it's not like he's just getting salty because he's lost. I mean, he gets salty because he loses. You see that through the way he tweets and stuff, as everyone gets salty because they lose. But I think for Kurt, he didn't walk off because he got salty because he lost. I think he ended up coming back. He tried to walk off because he conceded 3 kickoff goals in a game that he generally dominated. And so I think he felt unjustly beaten, essentially. With that being said, the 3rd kickoff goal that made him walk away, I personally think was beyond the realm of a kickoff goal, because he had plenty of, like, the play had extended for such a long period of time that for me it was past the threshold of it being a kickoff goal. You know, for me it was past that, oh God, like, my defense won't do anything, they're standing around. And it was more into the fact that he just got outplayed in that scenario. But I think that came from the frustrations of the fact that he had conceded 2 pretty fair kickoff goals, you know, and they're still an issue. EA tried to address them. The problem with kickoff goals is it comes from just poor programming over a number of years. Actually, I'm not enjoying this formation for what it's worth. I don't find real strength in this formation. The problem with kickoff goals is that every time there's been an issue with the kickoff, what they've done is not fix that issue, but just like paper over it. So back in FIFA 11, the KSI kickoff goal was around, where you'd pass it to your cam, you'd press L1, and then you just put a long chip through ball over. And so to counter that, they didn't reprogram the whole game in a manner that allowed that to be fixed. What they did instead was just drop the defensive line deeper from kickoff, and it prevented that from being like an abusable method. But what that created then was a different abusable method. Now, instead of playing the long chip through ball, people just have the wow, is this guy all out attack? People just had the opportunity to run past the first defensive line, like the midfield line, and then all of a sudden they are in a position of power against the back line that isn't responding well because they're in their starting positions, and it caused a completely different issue. And then they patched over that with something else, and then they patched over that with something else. And what happened is it didn't actually create a fix. It just opened up more and more problems. I can't believe he saved that. It just opened up more and more problems. So the kickoff goal has been a problem for some time. I think we can all agree. So I understand Kurt's frustration. I understand why he stood up, why he walked away. What I don't agree with, this is what I put in the tweet, and why I don't think it's that deep, is I don't agree with his professionalism or lack thereof. But more importantly, I don't agree with his lack of respect towards his FIFA, you know, his FIFA opponent. Like FIFA Ustan, who coincidentally went on to win the whole thing, did nothing wrong. He just played the game that's put in front of him, which is, it's not his fault that he scored those kickoff goals. It's not his fault that the game is in such a state in terms of a competitive manner. And it's, oh wow, where's my defense? And it's not his fault that Kurt couldn't handle that. And I think in that regard, oh, he's going to score his first chance, isn't he? In that regard, the lack of respect and lack of professionalism that he showed to FIFA Ustan, I apologise if I say his name wrong, the commentators had it like different ways all over as well. I think that's something that can't be taken lightly. The fact that he just, you know, he just showed a blatant disrespect and disregard to his fellow FIFA professionals. No matter what you think or like or don't like about Kurt, that is not acceptable at a competitive like event. I don't think you would ever see that from anyone in any other competitive setting. I'm sure you'll see some bitching back and forth, some unprofessionalism with actual issues between opponents. I've seen it in the COD scene of the guys literally going at each other whilst they're sitting at their computers playing the game. But to get up and walk away because the guy's just playing the game in his manner, I think that's the real problem here with Kurt. But what it does is it creates 2 issues. The first issue is Kurt's action and reaction And the second issue is the reason why it came about. And I think that primarily has to be addressed, because the reason why Kurt had the action and reaction that he had is because this game is not prepared, not ready for competitive FIFA. And I think, sadly, until we had somebody act the way that Kurt has acted and created this drama within the FIFA community and within the competitive scene, nothing, in my opinion, nothing has really been heavily done about that. And now, because the way Kurt has reacted, now we'll see something happen, in my opinion. Now we'll see something change, whether it be the way that these guys are viewed as professionals, whether it be the way that the game is played competitively, whether it be the way EA handle incidents like this. But it needed something like this, and it sadly needed someone to stand up and not be counted. It needed someone to stand up and do the wrong thing for the right reasons, and Kurt has assumed that role. And it's going to be tricky for him now going forwards, because in terms of like being an organisation, you know, would you want somebody on your team that has a relationship as such with EA, with his fellow professionals, and it's going to be tricky for him going forwards. You know, obviously everyone deserves a second chance, everyone deserves third chances, fourth chances. I think people can definitely adapt and adopt their ways. But what I think, what should happen, in my opinion, and what I think we need to see in the FIFA community is something that, in general, gaming community doesn't have, that I think we need to see. And that's that these guys, especially when they have teams and are signed to genuinely professional contracts, they need social media training. Now, as a YouTuber, for myself, I don't necessarily need or want social media training. However, I'm sure it would benefit me. You look at any top athlete, or most top athletes, any actors, actresses, musicians, whoever they may be, their Twitters and stuff is never generally them and their personal opinions. Sometimes it is, you know, there are obviously anomalies there, but generally speaking, that's not the case. Oh, Bailey's been pushed off by Naldo there. And I think, you know, the fact that these guys have gone from 2 years ago to being genuinely nobodies, even like the most well-known professional FIFA players 2-3 years ago were still considered absolutely nobodies. There were some exceptions that you have to take into consideration. For example, Bruce Granick, I would say, would be an exception, just because of how much he had done in the competitive scene over the years, how much he had won, the fact that he's won PES World Championships and FIFA World Championships. But you know, these guys that are in the scene now, along with the FIFA scene blowing up, along with the esports scene blowing up, along with the competitive nature of gaming blowing up, along with the social gaming, you know, the social nature of gaming blowing up, these guys have just all fallen into it, like many YouTubers did all those years ago. You know, it's something that you did as a hobby because you loved it, because you had fun, and it turned into something a lot more serious than you ever thought it would be or could be. And you didn't know how to handle that. You know, I've made multiple mistakes in my time as a content creator. I've made multiple mistakes in my time as a content creator because I've never been taught, shown, or seen the right way about things. And that's where these pro guys are right now. They're considered athletes in the traditional sense of being an athlete. An esport athlete has, I think it was initially done a couple years ago when one of the let me get my subs in here. When one of the League of Legends guys needed a working visa to play in the World Championships from South Korea, and he got an athlete's working visa, and that changed the whole scope of the esports scene, because now these guys, whether or not you personally agree or not, by the letter of the book, these guys are athletes. They are professional athletes for esports organizations. And so they should be, and for the most part are, regarded as, or should be held to much higher standards than people that aren't professional athletes, and for people that are potentially trying to break into the scene but not quite there, or so on and so forth. Go on, Bailey. I like this card, by the way. He's good. And where the shortcoming is that they are considered athletes and considered professionals, but they don't have the training or the understanding or the social media management that actual athletes, like real life physical athletes, actually get. And there's this catch up like system in place where only through learning through mistakes and learning through other people's mistakes, do we understand what the do's and don'ts are? Even me, to this degree now, sometimes I tweet some stuff that I don't even think is harmful, that I just think is me having genuine and general discussions with people, and I'll get somebody who is a professional in the scene, whether it be someone that's not a content creator but just a professional from a different sport or from a different world, would message me on the DM and be like, dude, you shouldn't have this tweet up. You know, in terms of, for companies, this isn't something that they would want to see or would want to engage in. And even though I personally think it's not necessarily a tweet that's damaging or damning, I can understand and respect the fact that as somebody with an audience as large as I have and that has been in this industry for as long as I have, I too am and should be held to a higher regard than your general, you know, average Joe, in certain regards. I don't always agree with it. It's not as black and white as you can or can't tweet this or that. And I think that's where someone like Kurt just lacks the fundamentals in that regard, because he's very aggressive, very rude, very condescending and arrogant. Things I've been accused of, rightly so myself, over the years, on social media. And in the long run, that's not going to help him. It's just not. It's going to hurt him so much more than it will help him in the long run. And I've learned that firsthand and through experience. Oh, that's a hell of a miss. I've learned that firsthand and through experience. But what's really sad is that he's either got no one that's sitting there saying to him, dude, you shouldn't act like this, you should act like this, or at least be more respectful in the way you're trying to get your point across. Or he's got people that are saying to him, this is a problem, you should address this, and he's just too naive to actually have it bother him because he thinks he's above this game. And if that's the case, if he thinks he's better than this game and he thinks he's above FIFA and FIFA as an esport, he has no career in this industry, no matter how good he is at FIFA, because people just won't work with him. You know, as much as I love his passion for the game, and I love the fact that he wants the best for this game, and he clearly is very unhappy with many aspects of this game. The sad truth is that if he acts like a spoilt brat when things don't go his way with regards to this game, eventually nothing will change for him except for the fact that he won't be included. And if he wants to be included, if he wants to be a professional FIFA player, if he wants to be part of this setup for the long term, he's going to have to sacrifice certain parts of his character to make sure that happens, while still being able to be a face of change. You know, there is certain things in this game and certain things in this industry that he can still do as an influencer, and as somebody as good as him, he can still make the necessary changes without it being you know, an arrogant, condescending tone towards the people that are essentially giving him the platform to live this life. So that's kind of my thoughts and opinion on it. I have absolutely no personal regard towards Kurt, positively or negatively. I don't know him at all. I've never really engaged or interacted with him. I've enjoyed his content for the simple fact that I enjoy what he brings as an arrogant content creator, as somebody who's not afraid to speak their mind. You know, someone like myself, I speak my mind sometimes all too much. And as I'm saying this in regards to Kurt, me speaking my mind too much has at times cost me opportunities that I otherwise would have had. And so, you know, should Kurt ever manage to see this or anything, this isn't an attack at him in any way, shape or form. As I say, in many respects, I understand and respect what he did and why he did it. I just think it was unfair to his opponent, let alone the organisation that gives him the platform to be who he is. And yeah, he's got two choices. He either wants to continue in this industry and has to sharpen up on his social management skills and start handling his grievances with this game better. Alternatively, he doesn't want a future in this industry, and he can go out all guns blazing and potentially affect change. You know, and I think one of the things that frustrates a lot of the pros and a lot of the content creators, along with a lot of the casual players that just play this game, is that once again it seems like no matter what we say or what we do, EA just aren't willing to change or aren't willing to talk about what's going on. And so that leaves this atmosphere of negativity, because as a pro player, you know, I'm sure I've seen them all complain about kickoff goals. You know, EA tried to change kickoff goals, And ultimately, they're still there, they're still a problem, they're still an issue. Now, on the one hand, you could say, hey, you're a pro player, learn to deal with it. Like, this is your forte. You've got to understand a better way how to handle this and how to deal with it. As a pro player, that's your prerogative to do. But there's also something that says that if there is a genuine issue with this game, with the way this works, they as pros should stand up to EA and say this is not acceptable within our game. Now, it seems like a lot of people have said that. I've seen so many players on Twitter, pros, content creators, or otherwise, say the likes of, you know, this is terrible, or that's terrible, this thing is a problem, or that thing is a problem. And it seems like nothing has been done about it because we never hear anything about it, and that's a problem as well, you know. So I can see the perspective and point of view from both camps. I wish the best for Kurt. I hope he's not punished too seriously for this, like in terms of, you know, there's been people talking about banning him from events and so on and so forth. I hope that's not the case, and the reason why I hope that's not the case is because even though Kurt has a reputation for you know, being the rude, arrogant, condescending person that he is, in terms of a competitive set, in terms of a competitive scene and such, I don't think he's ever done anything like this, and I think it should be a case of, you know, hey buddy, like if you do that again, we're gonna ban you. You're done. Because if they just flat out ban him on the, you know, for not just a first offence in that regard from him, but a first offence in that regard ever, I don't think that should be punished. I don't think they should use him. Jesus, my hat's falling off anyway. I don't think they should use him as a scapegoat to say this is what will happen if you do this again. What I think they should do is use this as a learning example and say, here's something that you're not allowed to do, and in future anybody that does do this will be punished by this. And then the punishment will range from missing out on the rest of the events of the year, for repeat offenders potentially getting 1 to 2 year competitive esports bans, for, you know, harsh offences getting permanent esport bans, so on and so forth. But I don't think it would be fair to completely scapegoat Kurt in this situation, because the bottom line is he's done what every other FIFA player just wants to do on a game-to-game basis. And you know, everyone's allowed to slip up, man. Everyone's allowed to slip up, and everyone's allowed an extra chance. So for what I thought wasn't going to be a long conversation about this topic, turned out to be a whole video about this topic, but I think it's a fair way to leave it there. So in the long and the short of it, I understand Kurt's frustrations, I understand where he's coming from and what his point is. I think he showed a tremendous lack of respect and professionalism to the organisation that offers him the opportunities that he has. But more importantly, I think he showed a tremendous lack of respect to his opponent, who was just quite simply playing the same game. And sure, he got RNG or good luck or bad luck or kickoff goals or whatever, but that he shouldn't have been made to wait or been punished for Kurt's outburst. That's my personal opinion. But I think EA need to take this as a learning experience and make sure that the players are aware of their responsibility as professionals. And then if they're not aware of their responsibilities as professionals, or if they don't take that seriously, they should be aware of the consequences that come along with that. And I don't think scapegoating Kurt on the immediate term is going to be something that really helps that learning ability. This, though, guys, is going to be the end of the video for today. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, rate, and comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.